Safety net at about 100 k's yesterday. He's already fallen in his first jump today, and this is his second jump coming up, and he's definitely the wild card.
Ryan Svensson now from the United States, 25 years of age, from Oklahoma City. First trip to Australia, first Moomba Masters. Has loved it here so far. And there you'll see him turning into the ramp now. The view from the boat as he makes his way to the bottom. Oh boy, almost in a lot of trouble once again. He struggled on his first jump. That was his second. And we were promised a surprise packet when Brian Svensson arrived here. He's not going to let us down, Sandy.
Well, it's great to have him out here. As you said, his first trip. Each skier having 3 jumps, and we'll pick the best 2. They all go on for a head-to-head final.
Well, there you see Brian Svensson just getting almost too far over the front of those skis, and that's when you get into the most aggravating, the terrible situation when you're jumping, where you can come over the front of the skis, and it is what the guys simply call a face plant, and you don't want to be in that situation.
He's a very untidy jumper. He gets there just on aggression, and that's how a lot of these young guys start, and they tidy themselves up. It looks like a 45.7 metre jump, and he'll be just happy to get a score on the board at this stage. He's going all right, but he hasn't settled down to the river conditions at all.
Well, we said that he was on helmet cam. A couple of minor technical problems, but when you consider the speed he's going, no wonder. And that's what we see from our helmet cam.
Amazing shots. You get a feel there too for the amount of speed these guys have to the bottom of the ramp. The boat's travelling at 58 kilometres, 36 mile an hour. By the time the guys hit the bottom of the ramp, they're travelling almost doubling that speed. Now this is Brian Svensson in the trick event earlier on today. As you can see, a little bit darker this morning. The weather has cleared quite well this afternoon, but Brian's making a feast of it in the trick event. The aim here to go as slow as he can and just make a nice steady stand-up pass. He's not probably the biggest scorer in the competition, so he's relying on getting through his pass, getting his maximum score, and if he can do that, he'll go through.
Mark, how do the judges look at scoring? How's it done?
Well, basically the judges watch very carefully on a set form guide of tricks, and they judge each trick individually. Panel of 5 judges.
Right,
here's Brian Svensson now.
Third jump, final jump.
Oh, untidy. Oh, got it together, Kenny. Oh, just got out of that. In fact, he hasn't got out of it.
There goes helmet cam.
Unbelievable. The guy just jumps on the edge all the time. Yeah. Absolutely amazing.
He was uncomfortable on the way. He lost it on the jump, got it together, then lost it at the top, and I don't know how he got out of that safely.
Well, let's have a look at him here. Here he comes. He's in good shape to the bottom. Now look at that. That is as close to the edge as you would ever want to go as a jump water skier.
And here it is, courtesy of helmet cam.
Oh, you see there, he's so late. See, he just gets onto the very bottom right-hand corner of that jump.
Right at the water there.
Yep. He's let the head tilt forward, and that's, of course, if you know anything about weight sports or gymnastic sports, if you look down, you will go down, and that's one thing to be avoided in jump water skiing. You've got to keep the head up.
As we go back to the tricks now, as we said, this was the same gentleman earlier this morning. We were talking, Mark, about the judging and how they score.
Okay, well, the judges sit up in the Australian Unity Judges Tower. They're a panel of 5. They work against the rule book. All of these tricks that the skiers have done, they're all set out in the world rule book. They're ratified. New tricks are often invented, and these go in like these series of somersaults. You see their backflip, a backflip reverse, and he's really done a tidy job. You see him give a little clench of the fist there, and he's done great. Russell Gay from the United States, very strong trick skier. Has been coming out here for about 4 years, clinched his first title last year, looking to go back-to-back this year, would like to get the trick title, but he has some very, very tough opposition. Series of toe turns there, spinning in and out of the rope. The wake tricks, the surface tricks you see there on the surface of the water, when he takes them out onto the wake like that, they almost double the point score. And Russell Gay, magnificent tricky. You just see there he's had a fall right on the hooter on his most difficult trick. You'll see a lot of these skiers will leave their most difficult trick till the end of their run, so that they've got all the points built up in the first part, and then at the end they take the risky tricks. But this is just magnificent. The line tricks where he jumps completely over the ski rope, gets it back underneath. He's just about to break into the flip sequence, and there it is, almost from standing. A flip with a twist, you see, lands at the back on that one. Another somersault.
Wonderful.
And a forward somersault. Amazing. And back over the rope, and that's a tidy pass. We'll certainly keep him in it.
Do these conditions affect the tricksters very much?
Not too much at all, Sandy. It's nice when you're toe tricking to have a tailwind, because it just takes a little bit of drag off the ski line. When you're using your leg like that, it makes it a bit easier.
This is Jarrett Llewellyn, 24-year-old from Canada. and a former jumps record holder. Here's his first jump.
Yes, from Innisfail, very popular out here too.
And Jared was the informed skier last year, but he hasn't quite got into shape this year. He's running about 5th at the moment, but he's out for a big jump. That's a good setup for his first jump. A lot of speed to the bottom. Oh, body crushed, and he won't be happy with that. He'll put his nose on the front of the jump then. Yeah, he carried the speed, but just didn't control the ramp surface. And we'll watch. Okay, this is the shot from 101 Collins Street. You'll see as he hits the bottom of the jump, the head drops down dramatically, and he lost all his lift off the top of the ramp.
You can really see from that shot too just how rough it is for the guys down on the water surface.
Yeah.
It's choppy today, it's a bit tough.
Well, go back to the tricks, and just while we are, I guess the one thing that's so different about this Australian Unity Tournament of Champions and the Moomba skiing generally is that this is no man-made lake. This is, they're battling not only the water, but they're battling nature, aren't they?
Exactly, that's right. You've got the tide going up and down here. Particularly the Americans come out, they've been used to skiing in such ideal conditions in Florida, where they do a lot of their training, a lot of man-made lakes. Kyle Eade from New Zealand up on the water now here in the trick event. The Kiwis, very similar to us, they'll ski on virtually anything, and that's probably what's made our Australian skiers so strong over the years, is that we do have to get out there and we do have to have a go on just about anything.
And just having said that, Mark, we should emphasise too that the world's top skiers still love coming out to Moomba, don't they?
No doubt about it, and you'll see the smiles on their faces. Now here's an interesting guy to watch too, Bruce Neville, very, very strong contender for the overall, the reigning Moomba champion, and world-ranked #1 jump skier. On the trick ski, he's very talented too. He's been skiing for many years, perfecting these trick runs. Probably not the biggest scorer in the competition, but once again, he'll look to stand up if he can hang on and get all those points together. He's a bit of a show in this competition.
You mentioned that he's a big chance in the overall, of course, trying to join Mike Hazelwood as a 5-times winner. What a feat that would be.
Absolutely. It'd be great to see it too. Make him the most successful Australian here at the Moomba Masters over the years, which would be great to see too. Jared Llewellyn from Canada, jump #2 from Innisfail Province. Very much enjoys his trips here to Australia. Here he comes. Into the bottom, he's in good shape. Boy, these guys are having a big dig at that jump ramp this afternoon.
Well, he's definitely getting the speed, but he's just can't handle the ramp at the moment. He's not getting off the ramp. His legs are buckling under him, and his position just before the bottom of the ramp is not correct, and he's not game enough to push off it. So he'll be disappointed in that.
So we go back to the tricks, and once again, Bruce Neville.
Well, Bruce is surprised the way he's tricked, because he hasn't been training all that much for the trick event. He's trying to get his jumping right, and I thought he did an excellent job in the event. He tricked over 6,000 points, and for Bruce that's an excellent run, and it really sets him up well for the overall. You can see the excellent control Bruce Neville has. That was right at the end of his pass, and he was quite happy with that trick run. This skier on the water now we're watching in the tricks is
Jared Llewellyn at the moment, the Canadian. The man who's on the water jumping. He's a strong tricker too, certainly could take this event out. He's probably the man to watch in this event, along with the French competitor, Nicolas Laforestier. And Jared Llewellyn, a real treat out there on the water, as you can see. He's a smaller guy, he's very good build for gymnastics.
52.8 was his second jump, we can tell you that, after an opening jump of 49.2.
But certainly capping off a good day. He's had a good day here in the trick event, as you can see, those multiple spins off the wake.
And here comes the flips.
Each one of them different. Yes, none of these tricks are repeats either, Sandy's probably important to mention too. Each one of these is an individual trick. And have a look at this. He flips to the back there, so that's a backward somersault with a twist. And finishes off his run. Looks very comfortable, very, very happy. Loves jumping here at Moomba, and this is what it's all about.
Yes, back live now in the Australian Unity Tournament of Champions. And for the tricks, Jared Llewellyn onto his third jump.
The Nissan Pulsar queue up for grabs too, and this man would certainly like to take one. Let's see how he goes. Jump #3, third and final attempt. Last chance at it. At a very, very nice approach too. A lot of speed in. Can he use it? Oh, boy. Well, it's incredible, the pressure on these guys.
What sort of speed, Mark, is he doing just before he hits the ramp?
I can tell you precisely. Last year the Victoria Police were down on site here. Now the boat does 58 k's, near enough to 60. They clocked the guys with the radar gun at about 121, 122 kilometres, so they are absolutely smoking into the bottom of the jump. That's the replay now for Jared Llewellyn. Looked very, very tight on that jump. You see he's got good speed in. He's in great body position to the bottom. but just didn't manage to get that lift off the top. Now, you got to imagine hitting that ramp, Sandy, at 120 kilometres an hour. It's fiberglass, it's wet, it's slippery, it's your worst nightmare.
I can imagine it, which is why I'm more than happy to be sitting up here with you. So Jarrett Llewellyn has completed his 3 jumps. We'll take a break and be back with more shortly in the Australian Unity Tournament of Champions. This man is known as the Gull, and a Melbourne favourite is John Livingston. Best jump of 59.15. Certainly won't go anywhere near that today. This was just a few moments ago, his first jump. 48.9, and just to keep you up to date, Jarrett Llewellyn's final jump was 47.4, so his best was 52.8 metres.
Yes, John Livingston on that jump really looked in good form, but you only see it from that angle from 101 Collins, where his skis actually spread on the ramp, and he wasn't able to use the ramp to get the maximum lift off the top. 2 big ingredients in jumping. One is that speed to the bottom the guys get by doing this cut back and forth, and second is the lift off the top.
I'd say there's 3, the third being a big heart.
It is a big heart, and you'll see that later on in the afternoon too as they push it to the edge. Here we go now at the Pura Tower. John Livingston, second jump. He'll be dialed in now, felt the conditions. Oh boy, that's close again. They are going right to the edge this afternoon, Ian.
Yes, and John's one of those guys that just grits his teeth and just pushes all the way, and I thought he was very uncomfortable through the air then.
One more jump to come from John Livingston. In the meantime, we'll go back to the tricks and be back with the Gull shortly.
And it is the fabulous Frenchman, Nicolas Le Forestier.
Just rolls off your tongue, Mark.
Yes, I've been practicing Nicolas's name for quite some while, actually. So here he is, the Frenchman. He is a magnificent tricker. He is right on the edge of the world record. In fact, last weekend at the Australian Masters at the Latrobe Valley, he got to within, in fact, he overtook it by 3 or 4 points, or 30 or 40 points, I should say. And he's hoping to get it here by the end of this tournament. We'll wait for the official score and see exactly how close he got. But he's right on the edge. He's unofficially broken it. It's yet to be ratified, but he's looking for a big score here, and he is just brilliant. Have a look at this. Rolls off forward flips, back flips. There's a flip with a twist to the back. Another flip reverse. Just rolls them over and over, and a fall right on the end. Now, I believe, and there it is, 10,470, and it looks as though that last fall may have cost him the world record.
So, placings in the men's tricks. Nicolas Le Forestier, 10,470. Jarrett Llewellyn, 9,820. And Russell Gay, 9,530. Really, it was a battle between those 3. Well clear of Bruce Neville, Brian Swenson and Kyle Lee.
Yes, congratulations too to the Frenchman. Women's tricks, and Sally Morris from Geelong in Victoria, Mad Keen Cats supporter too. They're very, very stylish. You notice generally the ladies tend to be much more stylish in their toe tricking, particularly in the toe trick event. They just slow it down. They make it look so much easier than the guys who tend to really belt out the tricks. The girls make it look so graceful. Sally Morris, one of our young up-and-comers at university at Melbourne at the moment. And here we go back with the third and final is for John Livingston. Oh boy, he's having a go.
Oh, that's a nice jump.
Really is having a go at it. Well, we may have a new leader after that jump. Very, very aggressive. Now, John has been a runner-up at the world titles last year, the world silver medalist, and he has never won a Moomba Masters, and that is his biggest aim at the moment, is to win this tournament here at home in Melbourne. Let's have a look and see how he went. Good approach. He's very, very strong. He's the strongest he's ever been, he was saying the other day. But once again, that incredible speed in, he just didn't manage to couple that lift off the top. It's something like a diver off a springboard tries to get onto his toes and get that extra lift into the air, and that's what the guys are trying to do.
50.7 metres.
You'll see the skis actually spread on the ramp on that one. That's where he lost his actual distance. So he won't be all that happy.
As we go back to the women's tricks.
Sally Morris it is now with the rope in hand this time. Generally all these skiers will do 2 passes, one with rope on toe, one with rope in hand.
This was recorded from earlier this morning. In fact, Sally was telling me she didn't really appreciate being up at 8 o'clock, jumping out of bed and going to do her tricks.
Very big ask this morning too. The chilly weather, and of course not a lot of people down here to watch the girls early in the morning, and just making a comment there about the condition of the water, because it was a little bit tough for the girls this morning. It was rough and it was cold. Britta Grebe from Austria. Next competitor up.
Yes. Her specialty is jumps, but she's a very fine trick skier. And this is her first trip to Australia, and she's loving every moment of it. And she fell very early in the trick pass on her first run. This is a toe pass, much smoother in the toe run. A lot of control needed with that foot to keep the rope tight. Yes. Every one of these tricks is different. It's not one trick the same.
Very tidy tricker in, isn't she? The way she stays right over the ski.
And fell just as the time ran out and they released her from the boat.
Sarah Gatty-Saunt from England on her second trip to Australia.
And Sarah's a trick specialist, really. She skis overall, but this is her best event. And this is her hand run. Did very well in this event.
And from Sarah, we are back live now with birthday boy Bruce Neville, 31 today, and many have come to see this boy in action. Look at him go!
Beautiful jump. That's the big jump.
Happy birthday, Bruce.
Yeah, he'll be lapping it up out there too. That is a look at the guys here. The fans are down here, the Bruce Neville fans. They love it when the big man is doing his thing. And he has come out definitely with the biggest opening jump. Have a look how strong he is. He comes into the bottom of the ramp. He's got the skis on edge, belts it off the top. And
55.
Distance 55.
That is a big jump.
It is a beauty. Have a look at it and listen to him go. Magnificent fly through the air. He is world ranked #1, and when you see the guy in action, even at 31, he is just unbelievable. So consistent when he gets out on the water.
Had an excellent year last year, 6 times winner, as we go back to this morning's action and the women's tricks.
Sarah Gatty-Saunt it is from Great Britain on her second pass, rope on toe. She's been brilliant, this girl. She was here 2 years ago. She went home to Great Britain. She had a jump fall and had a total knee reconstruction. Looked like she wouldn't ski again, and you see that heavy brace on the knee, and she's back out there and she's doing a great job, and I expect to see big things from her. Kim DiMacedo from Canada. From Victoria, Canada, home of the Commonwealth Games. Kim was there earlier on in the year, or last year when the Games were on. Once again, very, very strong jumper, very talented slalom skier, and a strong tricker too. Makes for a strong overall combination.
Yes, we first saw her here in 1988 at the World Junior Titles on the Yarra River, and she was the star then, and she's just gradually moved up the world ranking list since. One of the world's leading women's skiers, and this is her toe pass. Just got through that, and a nice toe pass from Kim DiMacedo.
As we're back live now with Bruce Neville. 55 metres was his first jump. What can he do on the second?
Oh, got in a lot of trouble just before the bottom of the ramp. Heaps and heaps of speed. And he's got one more to go. Wasn't happy with that.
Strategy is good, Ian, I think, from Bruce. He's gone out there, he's put a good one on the board. He's got the lead so far with 55. He knows with guys like Scott Ellis, Jim Clunie still to come, he really has to arc it up. So 47.3, it's down. It's a fair way down, but what he's doing now is he's trying to work out exactly where to cut from. So with 3 jumps, he can afford to sacrifice the second to get his cut sorted right out.
Right, let's check the women's tricks results, and Kim DiMacedo was successful with 5,740 points. Sarah Gatty-Saunt, who we just saw, 4,240. Sally Morris, the youngster from Geelong, has done well, coming in third at 3,850, and Britta Grebe, 3,380 points. From the women's tricks to women's slalom, also earlier this morning.
There's a great competition once again in very, very trying conditions out there, the women's slalom. And once again, this is Sarah Gatty-Saunt, who we were just watching a little bit earlier on, with a very strong knee brace on. Of course, the aim of the game here to get around as many boys as you possibly can. And the slalom event scored in half points, quarter points and full points. Here she is on her second pass now. The green shortening, 13-metre line. Very important pass, this one. Good shaper too, stood up a little bit there, lost a little bit of form, and we'll leave it there at boy number 2. Couldn't get across there to number 3, but good score.
And here we go, number 3 for Bruce Neville. His first jump, 55 metres. Second got into trouble, 47.3. We'll be looking for a big one coming to the last.
Yes, one more chance to get that Nissan Pulsar Q, and that's the spot. If he can kick this one, he'll get it. Heaps of speed. Oh! I think he's going to get out of it not too bad.
Oh, that is absolutely terrible. Don't tell me any time that doesn't hurt, and what a nightmare on your birthday as well. the guys, they hate to see it happen. You'll see there, Bruce is only very angry with himself. Let's see where he got into trouble here, Ian. He turns, he looks in good shape with the I say he was a little bit early to the ramp, and he might have just let up, and that might have put him off. You see, yeah, he's just let off there, couldn't resist the ramp, and the thoughts going through his mind there, you just know that that's going to hurt, and wham! There it is. Now, he was probably lucky there, Sandy, because he got over onto the hip, and going in on the hip is probably the best. Here's another shot.
Oh, he was lucky he didn't go out the front. He twisted to save himself.
Well, thankfully, he appears to be okay. 31 years old today. His best jump, 55 metres. He's certainly right in the thick of things. We'll take a break. More shortly from the Australian Unity Tournament of Champions. The men's jumps. This is Scott Ellis, 23-year-old, last year's Moomba champion. 52.9 for his first mark.
Very tidy jump too for Scott Ellis. And while some people have struggled in the conditions, and we saw that fall of Bruce Neville earlier, Scott Ellis looks very, very comfortable out there, and that's a sign of a champion. You've got to be able to do it in all conditions.
Well, back to his second jump shortly. In the meantime, earlier this morning, women's slalom.
And the Canadian is Kim DiMacedo. Good form at number 3. The shot from the boat there that shows exactly how tough it is for the skiers out on the water as they make their way around to number 4. Kim in good shape.
Tough for the skiers, but is it also tough for the drivers of the boat?
Oh, absolutely. The unsung heroes of the tournament. I mean, you only ever hear about the boat driver if something goes wrong, if the speed's out of tolerance. These guys are brilliant. Trevor Cordes, Norm Moore and Barry Shasser. We only use 3, and they're World Championship drivers. Norm's been the head boat driver for years here at Moomba, and also World Titles driver. But Kim DiMacedo, a bit of a nasty fall, that one. It was a surprise. And they're never the nice ones, the ones that come up like that.
This is Helena Schalander, last year's winner, and skied very well this morning. As you can see, superb style from the Swedish girl. And that's the 14.25 metre line. Very strong skier, Helena.
And now we're back live with the second jump of Scott Ellis. Ranked number 6 in the world at the moment, but he's come to a stop. I'm just wondering also, with the strong breeze that's blowing across, surely this must play havoc with the skier's balance.
It certainly does in all events, less so in the tricks, but as you increase speed, as Helena is doing here in the slalom event now on the 13-metre pass, you can see the way that the wind and all sorts of things can play havoc. Now, we've got a situation there where we have a tie at the moment, and Helena is the second to come up there. Let's have a look now at Emma Shears from Victoria. And she goes through the gates now. It's important, the skier's got to get through those gates to score. She's across to number 2 on the orange shorting. Oh, and a lot of trouble. Oh, boy. Well, very early fall for Emma, and she won't be very, very happy with that pass at all. But we have, at this stage, a 3-way tie for the lead in slalom.
So, a 3-way playoff there, but our attention is with Scott Ellis. He's going to go back and prepare again for his second. So let's go back to that action from earlier this morning with the 3 all tied.
Yes, level tie. Here we go in the runoff now on the orange shortening. 28 off in old imperial terms. Kim DiMacedo from Canada, the first one out. In good shape. A lot of pressure on the girls now in this playoff situation. Around to number 4 and a bit of strife there, and 4 boys will be the score for the Canadians. So she's set at 4, 2 to come. Here's Helena Schalander next up in this women's runoff.
Yes, well, Helena was the expected winner in the event, but here's see how she goes round 1, 2, and a lot of trouble round 2, and that was it. So Kim leading with 1 skier to go, Kathy.
Helena Schalander, in fact,
Sarah
Gatty-Saunt from Great Britain. You see that heavy knee brace. Let's see how she goes now. Through the gates, over to number 1 in tough conditions too, very testing. She's got to get past that number 4 boy to win it. She's got 2, over to 3, lining up for 4 now. Now if she gets this, she's won it. If she gets back to the wake, she's got it. She's got to number 5 and she's done it. Magnificent for Sarah Gatty-Saunt. Very unusual for such a young skier to come here and do so well at Moomba, and she's thrilled.
Yes, great performance by Sarah Gatty-Saunt. Winning the playoff from Kim DiMacedo and Helena Schalander, with Emma Shears finishing in 4th place. So back to the action now. Second jump of Scott Ellis. He has the second longest jump to date of 52.9. Bear in mind the top two through to the final. And what a shootout that'll be.
Scott Ellis now coming into the ramp. Oh, he's decided to let it go. Well, he's passed too late. Too much pressure, yep. Too much pressure, left it as late as he could. You can see a sign once again of how hard these guys are going in the competition. Basically, two reasons why they'll pass up a jump. Either they're too early and would plough into the side, or they're too late and would get into more strive. So timing's crucial.
Let's go back to earlier action in the day, men's slalom.
Neil Ritchie, the Victorian from Bendigo, Victoria. Very, very strong slalom skier. Comes from a great water skiing family. His brother Wayne was a ski racing champion. And Neil finishing there at boy number 3 and a little bit disappointed, I think, with that one.
One of the top skiing centres in the state, Bendigo.
Kyle Eade, it is indeed, the Kiwi, on 14.25. Number 1's in good shape. Over number 2, he's really grown a lot, this kid, in the last year and has tremendous big reach. He would be, in fact, he is New Zealand's number 1 water skier. Been competing on the US Pro Tour. Very strong. Oh, boy. I didn't expect to see that there.
Well, Kyle started off a trick skier and ended up an all-round very strong skier, but this is Scott Ellis from the USA, and Scott's more famous as he's currently out in the water now for the jump, but he slalom very well yesterday and did quite well today in the final.
Caring for it for the benefit of every Melbourne.
This is Grant Barnett. Grant beat his twin brother on the Saturday round. I was very pleased to get in the final, but had a very poor run on this early run, and you'll see he'll come unstuck very early.
A bit disappointing for Grant too, because he very capable slalom skier and doing it so easy to there. Just one little mistake and you can't afford anything, unfortunately, in the slalom event. And Grant a little bit disappointed with himself, but very tough conditions. Bruce Neville, certainly the crowd's favourite here at Moomba. He gets great support when he's out on the water. Grips the handle and away he goes now. See the sun just starting to come out down there on the course. Over to number 2 in great shape. A real tooth and nail fighter is Bruce Neville. The 12-metre line he's on right now. Very difficult pass. Gets across to number 4. Full pass.
And back live now with Scott Ellis. 52.9 first jump. A pass on the second. What can he do on the third? He's got the second longest to date.
He has to adjust. That's a touch earlier. Now, can he handle the ramp? Oh, looks like he's in control. Hit the corner, but he'll be disappointed. Well, it's looking good for Bruce Neville. Maybe the experience is showing. Bruce has had that big crash, but he's got a 55-metre on the board.
And with just Jim Clunie to come, it is the top 2 that will shoot it out in the final. As we go back to this morning's action, men's slalom.
And back with Bruce Neville, the man who's in the hot seat in the jump competition at the moment at number 2. Just inside 3, that is the 11.25 metre line, and that is going to stand Bruce Neville in good stead with a couple of more competitors still to come. And there's his fans, they love him there, the big signs up, we're not worthy. Brett Thurley, world slalom champion,
Yes, and last year, of course, he was injured for this event, but he's in good shape this year and definitely the hot favourite and proving how good a skier he is. Look at the strength he uses in the slalom course. Snaps that handle into the body, keeps the ski on the edge all the way, and a very powerful slalom skier.
Yeah, powerful, certainly the word. I think you can see there, just huge shoulders, great upper body strength, Brett Thurley, and it's everything for him in this course. Now, he needs to get around number 3 in order to win this competition. Let's see how he does. Over number 1, beautiful start at number 1. Look at all the room as he goes to number 2. He's in good shape. Number 3 will get it for him. He's got 3. He's done it, and Brett Thurley knows it too. Congratulations.
It's great effort by Brett Thurley as we check the result. 32.25 for Thurley, victorious there in the men's slalom from Bruce Neville and Scott Ellis. Neil Ritchie, Grant Barnett and Kyle Eade. So we've just got the truck driver from Saskatoon to come, Jim Clunie. What can he do? Can he beat 52.9? Can he beat 55? We'll find out. Make it through the 2-man shootout. Jim Clunie from Canada. Not at all happy with the conditions, Mark.
No, not at all, and rightly so. Unfortunately, just the nature of the game in any sport, if you don't play at the same time as your opponent, you run the risk of weather conditions, and that's what Jimmy's getting at the moment, unfortunately. And you see he's just talking to the judge in the boat at the moment. But Jim's a seasoned competitor. He knows that that's just the way it goes. They're the brakes.
He did, in fact, jump 62.5 in May of last year, as we go back to earlier action. And the women's jumps, Tony Neville, second jump.
And in good shape there too, into the bottom of the jump. Very, very safe jumper is Tony Neville. Great slalom skier and a very strong jumper.
37 metres for Tony Neville.
And a good score too. She'd be fairly happy with that. 37 on the board. And the most important thing with that first jump is getting a good score on the board.
Now Kim de Macedo. This was her third jump.
Very, very, very strong jumper indeed. Here she goes into the bottom of the ramp. Very strong girl too. Gets a lot of lift off the top, really gets a lot of speed. Probably one of the fastest cruising girls into the bottom of the ramp, almost, except for our own Emma Shears.
39.3 for Kim de Macedo there, so just a couple of metres longer than Tony Neville. Britta Grebe, also her third jump.
Yeah, very strong jumper too. 29 years of age, from Austria. Real specialist in the jump event, very powerful at the bottom of the jump once again, and great lift off the top. And very, very safe. Good, strong jumping.
Distance of 40.5 for Britta, so that leaves Emma Shears still to come.
And here's the most aggressive woman jump skier in the world, Emma Shears. And just look at the way she attacks this jump ramp. Very aggressive turn, cuts all the way to the bottom and just kicks that ramp.
And too good, 41.2 for Emma Shears, that being her second jump, and that was good enough to take out the title. Emma Shears, a distance of 41.2. Britta was second, 40.5. Kim, 39.3, and Tony Neville, 37 metres.
Well, we're really having problems here with the river at the moment because the conditions have turned to the danger zone. We're actually getting rollers at the bottom of the ramp, and it's really worrying the skiers. But they're still attacking that ramp, but the rollers coming to the bottom of the ramp are really upsetting them, as we saw that big crash from Brucey Neville, and that's the problem we've got out there at the moment.
This is Jim Clunie, if you may have just joined us, the last of the jumpers, the 6 in the men. The top 2 will go through, so he has to beat 52.9 if he is going to be in the playoff. Bruce Neville hasn't jumped 55. He is quite safe. He is going to be one of the 2 finalists. But there you can see the problem, and my hat, I certainly don't envy them one bit.
Yeah, it's like, if you can imagine driving along, I mean, they're quite fair swells that are coming to the bottom of the ramp. Now, we said earlier they're hitting the ramp at about 120 kilometres an hour plus. It's like running over corrugations in the car, and the skis are the same. The knees start to chatter up and down, and you can just lose control. They're travelling so fast. It's a very, very dangerous situation. But the guys are good. They know when it's safe and when it's not, and away we go.
Second attempt, passed on the first. Jim Clunie from Saskatoon in Canada.
He's really doing a...
Well, he's just going through the motions there.
Yes.
Is that a form of protest are we seeing there?
It could be, actually.
I don't think so. I think what he's trying to do is just get one on the board. I think he may come back and have a bit more go at this next one. But I think the important thing was getting a score on the board, and I'd say that's hopefully what Jimmy's doing there, just getting the score on the board.
Conditions do seem to be improving. Before, it was ridiculous the roll was going on at the bottom of the ramp. It doesn't look too bad from him. We've got a very good view, and he seems a bit happier now.
Well, important that he does get that score on the board for starters. Now he can go back, and I think he might have done what he was achieving to do. He stopped the boat down at the far end, gave instructions to the driver. It's just a 25.7. That means nothing to Jim Clunie.
Yeah.
But you'll see him give instructions to the driver at the far end, and what he's doing there is buying time.
Well, speaking of buying time, let's just spend a minute with this man, Jim Clunie.
Animal by Pearl Jam. If I was a foot taller, I'd be in the NHL right now, just getting ready for playoffs. Pizza. come to Australia the first time, it's done more for my skiing here than anything else. Just gets you out there and gets you competitive. That people really like me. I want to jump over 200 every round, and I want to really win on Monday as much as Sunday, because Monday is the George Birch Trophy. I'd like to be the world champion in jumping, but there's more to life than that. So I'd have to say just to be happy right till the last day. The tour is a good lifestyle because you get to travel so much, and there's downfalls here and there, but no big deal. Like you carry on with it. Pamela Anderson wouldn't be too bad, I don't reckon, but she got married the other day, so I'll have to think about that one. We'll come back to that.
Yeah, sorry, Jim, she married one of the American rock stars. So that's out. And your Sunday is almost gone unless you can produce something special here. Last attempt after passing at the first, just going through the motions to get a score of 25.7 on the board second. But the news to hand is that he could be receiving a rerun on the second. Now that is good news for Jim Clunie.
It certainly is, Sandy, because at the moment it's most important that he buys time out on the water, and he's very clever. All these competitors are very clever at working the strategy. I think if he can just stretch it a little bit longer, if he can get that little bit extra time on the water, the conditions will turn, as they have done very quickly. It got nasty for him very quickly, and I think it'll settle very quickly. In fact, I'm tipping now it's probably better than it was before. So
yes, he should be out there now. This is good conditions.
Well, he's got two more to come, having received that re-ride. So hopefully we'll see this guy, who is so very popular here in Australia, and you can see why in that just a minute. He's a very, very famous young guy.
Laid back sort of a guy, Jim Clunie.
We'd adopt him here in Australia without a second thought.
Drives trucks in his spare time. Doesn't have a lot of that now, but here he goes. He's going to have a big dip here.
Oh, that's good preparation. Lots of speed. Oh, nice jump. Nice jump in the conditions. He's got one on the board. That might get him there.
He's got to beat 52.9 if he's going to go into the final. Bruce Neville, 55.
He's checking his jump fins. He was running really late, just got on the corner of the jump. Didn't get his full lift, but carried a lot of speed, and that should be a pretty big distance.
He's got one to come.
Just got on the corner. We wait for that distance.
Remember, he has to beat 52.9. Scott Ellis jumped that distance. Bruce Neville, the leader, at 55. Neville is through because two into the final. And a distance of 55.2.
So he's in.
He is in, and so too is Bruce Neville. That is going to be some shootout.
Absolutely, and a great jump there by Jim Clunie. Well, great to see. He's a great competitor, always very welcome here in Australia. Absolutely loves it. He comes 3 months before the competition to start to get ready.
I just wonder too, gentlemen, with the conditions as they are, maybe they may just go with these jumps and not have a shootout.
Well, there's a very good chance. I think we've pretty clearly narrowed it down to the top 3, or the top 2, I should say, and well, the condition's so dangerous it may be wise to spare the jumpers. The officials will make a decision shortly on that.
Well, Clunie has the longest jump, 55.2. He's got one to come. Bruce Neville has 55.
Well, Bruce Neville will definitely want to get out there for a shootout because the car's on the line. And
55.3, the amended distance, 55.3.
55.3, and here is his final.
Jim Clunie now. Gee, he loves it here. Here he goes once again. He's got beautiful conditions, but he's gone too hard. He's had to let that one go, passing up the jump ramp. But at 55.3, he is the top seed.
And he would be more than happy not to have a final shootout, but the man who's next to him at 55, Bruce Neville, definitely wants one. We'll take a break and see what eventuates when we're going to be the winner of the jump. There was to be a head-to-head jump off, but because of the conditions, not to be. Jim Clunie is our winner. 55.3 was his official distance, and here he is with Mark Britta. Mark?
Thank you very much, Sandy. Yes, Jim down here. Jim, congratulations. In difficult conditions, you pulled out a ripper.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. I'm really happy. Like I won Moomba and everything, and it's really excited, but I was kind of a little bit disappointed because of the conditions yesterday. I thought myself, Scott, Jarrett, and Bruce were just going to have like a 60-meter fest like we did last year. But I'm still, you know, I got what I've been training for, albeit through some otherwise odd sort of tournament conditions. Like, I guess we get spoiled here year after year. There's always like, you know, 60-meter jumps, and this year, you know, maybe even we were looking at breaking the course record, but with the tide and everything the way it is now, it's just, you know, you just can't get your skis to set in the water. But I'm happy I got what I came for. So
I had a feeling you might be happy now. You'll be happier now because it's my pleasure to present to you the keys to the Nissan Pulsar Q. Jimmy, congratulations. I know you've wanted it for a long time, and well done.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. I'd just like to thank Nissan. They've been a great sponsor of Moomba ever since I've been coming for 5 or 6 years, and Australian Unity now are behind us 100%, and just keep looking forward to a few more Moombas left in me and maybe a couple more cars.
Congratulations, Jim Clunie. Sandy, a very happy champion.
Yes, well done, Jim. Thanks, Mark. As we check the results, Jim Clunie 55.3, Bruce Neville at 55, and Scott Ellis 52.9 were 1, 2 and 3. Now, for a number of stations, don't forget, come